All right, everybody. So next up is how to show you how I've done the grains kick up. So this is just a vellum grains, and it's not too crazy, nothing fancy with the vellum grain setup. Um, so all I want to say is that um, for the vellum grain setup, um, all I'm doing literally is just parenting these grains to the RBD pieces and activating them once they reach a certain age. So if you have a look, oopsies. So these grains are sitting underneath those RBD pieces, and then they get moved up. They get transformed along with the RBD pieces that they are parented to. So if you view this, you can see that they're actually parented to those rigids. Right? So all I'm doing is just grabbing all the fractured ground, and if you have a look really fast, this is the fractured ground. And all I'm doing is isolating the pieces that I want to have grains in them. So I'm just manually blasting off parts of the sim that I want to turn into grains. So this here is the interesting part. I'm just so with these pieces we have the name attribute, right? I'm just looping each of those pieces with their name attribute. And so if you see here, I'm just looping between them on these pieces, and I'm generating grains on these guys. So now I've got grains. For this piece, it's just creating points from volume, and on this node, the wrangle, all I'm doing is just I'm fetching the name attribute from the RBD piece and storing that into the grains. So now you see I have no name, and here I'm generating name from the wrangle. And this cluster ID, I'm using it. It's just basically the iteration of the current iteration of the loop. So I'm just fetching that so I can store a cluster ID for each of these pieces. Now once that loop is done, just wait. You've got all these clustered up grains now. I'm caching that, and now the interesting part is this glue constraint. I'm gluing these grains based on their name attribute. So what you'll see is that these glue constraints are built up, are made only within those individual RBD pieces. We're not gonna get any constraints in between different pieces, in between different RBD pieces. It only generates the cluster, the glue within each individual piece. So that's that. And next in here, I'm just setting the sim properties for the Vellum. So I'm telling it to be stopped and tell it to pin to animation. And I'm setting some attraction weight as well, using some noise. So if you have a look what this looks, So the traction weight just goes between 0.5 and 1. And then the interesting part, so we have that name, right? I'm just transforming these grains with the simulation points. So this is simulation points. And I'm transforming those grains with that. Now you can see all these grains moving like how they would move with the rigids. All the rotation gets added in as well. So cool. Now this transform node just brings all those grains down beneath the ground pieces. And then that's pretty much it for generating those grains. And on this triangle, this is where I'm modifying the sim properties based on some attributes that I've generated from the RBD pieces. All right, so what I used to activate these grains, since by default we set the sim properties to be stopped, so these guys are just gonna follow the animation since they're pinned to the animation. And what I used to tell them to activate is through the active age that we got from the RBD pieces. So if you have a look here, we have the active age, active age, and the active stuff. So all I'm doing to fetch those things, I'm just using the transform pieces and setting active age to be copied to our grains. Since they've got name here and name here, and that means we'll be copying the active age to the appropriate piece. And that active age is just me saying if our age upon activation is between 0.07 and 0.15, since I'm randomizing the activation based on these age, then we turn our stop and pin to animation to 0. Then that means they'll be dynamic. They'll trigger their dynamics and everything. So that's why we used to trigger the grains to be dynamic. If we change this, I'm just gonna copy that, place it here, change this to 2, and this one to maybe 5. And air it out because we declared multiple times. If you see, they only start to turn red when they've reached their the masks that we've provided here. Cool. So that's what I did for that. And we'll move on to how I created the collisions in a bit. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Cheers. Bye.